So for this demonstration on how to render and draw texture, we're going to start with 4 things you need to know for 3D texture rendering. That's going to be, first of all, volume. Volume is really important for making sure the texture looks nice and full, and also it gives it more of a three-dimensional sort of illusion. So volume is important. Secondly, repetition is very important. With the repetition of using line and strokes of line over and over again, you're going to get something really lifelike, and you're going to avoid something that looks a little bit more stagnant or robotic. And third, variation is also really important. This is so you have different patterns and different strokes of how you break down line. The edges are going to be really important as well, and how you approach those will give these texture swatches a lot of life. And also considering the directionality of your pen strokes and which way that they are going. So as you can see here, I drew out 8 different circles in a grid-like structure to organize my piece of paper. I went ahead and I drew out circles here, and I kind of also organized my thoughts by just sort of starting with pencil and outlining, so I knew what textures I wanted where, and also organize the image a little bit here too. Like we have bricks, roof tiles. Anyways, I'm going to get started. Actually, before I get out my pen, I forgot I wanted to show you this little diagram that I made. It's just like a really easy way to understand volume. So the way to interpret volume is by seeing the way that light falls onto a subject and where the highlights and content and the shadows fall on the object that you're looking at. Let's say that this is a lamp, and then this is the light that's coming at my spheres of texture that I have here. So if my lamp is over on this side, if you can still see you can. All right, so if the lamp is projecting light from this direction, then I know that the lighter part of my texture example circle will be to this direction near where the light is coming from. I also know that the darker side of my sphere is always going to be, for me, it's on my right side right now. It's always going to be on the opposite side of where the light is facing the sphere. So keep that in mind. It's good to start out this way. If you wanted to have the light coming down, from this direction, or if you wanted it to be going in this direction, it's just something that you should consider for every single circle where you will be rendering texture. Okay, so I know that this side, I'm going to go ahead and make it already just really dark, this furry swatch. I'm going to make it dark with my pen just to start, because I know that the light is coming from this area. And I'm going to just make some fur. And I'll keep on repeating that line by just layering the little marks over and over again. Okay, so now I'm going to branch out a little bit. I'm going to go over here, repeat, and consider the directions where the line is falling. As you can see, the shadow of my textured sphere, my furry textured sphere, doesn't go all the way to the edge of my circle. It actually is inside a little bit. Of course, to capture something with a little bit of volume or anything that is round, you want to have shadows actually on all sides of the sphere. One shadow almost creating just like a ring around the sphere. And my strokes are directionally moving as well. Notice there is no sharp outline. We're breaking the line and using multitudes of it. So my next one is a cloud. Use any sort of larger pen while you do this. I'm going to use this for the brick. So this is a ultra fine Sharpie. And I'm also going to keep on using my micron. But I'm going to use this to outline the brick. Then once again, it's going to already establish where the darkest part of the sphere is. For the wood grain sphere, just when I draw wood grain and the texture of wood grain, I like to just start out with like the knots and I go from there. So let's create a little knot here. I'll create another one here. And then once again, add my little dark layer. And then I'll just start going to town with these lines. Okay, so then the next sphere I actually decided is going to be a cactus because I tend to draw that texture a lot, I guess. And this can go for grass or cactus or any natural organic texture that grows in blades. And after I establish where my shadow is, as I do for every single texture sphere. So with cactus needles, they tend to grow in spurts of more than one. Instead of a whole bunch of little needles that grow out from a cactus, there would be in one little area, there would be 3 like that. So the same goes for grass. Like when you draw grass, it goes into it grows in like a few little spurts, like in little bunches, and you would just add on and add on and add on. So the concept for drawing cactus needles is relatively the same. I'm just going to create them in bunches of 3, and then I also make sure that they're directionally are changing with the circular form. Now this is going to be a ceramic tile that you would see on a roof, which are kind of rounded. And so each tile, you know, is more of a rectangular, longer in width and shorter in height. But then there's also a curvature that happens to the tiles as well. So since they're rounded, I'm just going to use the repetition of line gently with my pen to round out the sides of the tile. So whenever something is round, like even a tree or something, there's going to be some shadow on both this side and this side. If you have a hard time controlling the position of your hand while you're drawing, you can always move the paper around too to make yourself more comfortable. Okay, and then my last texture sphere is going to be cow skin. So it's going to be fuzzy, but there's a high contrast when it comes to the texture of a cow. So cows have these black spots. So I'm just going to start with this being really as not really dark, like not like a flat black color, but I'm going to start with this, just filling up the shape with the medium value. And so when you're all done, take the time to erase all the pencil marks and let your pen dry for a second too, because you will smudge your pen if you start to erase it too soon.